There are mansions, and then there are places that feel like chapters in a legend. In Tiger Woods' Florida estate, that's one of those places. From the outside, it looks like a dream built by the greatest golfer of a generation. Quiet, private, untouchable. But lately, that home has become something else entirely. Not just a symbol of success, not just a recovery retreat, not just a golf paradise. It's become the center of a story that nobody saw coming. Because when a name like Vanessa Trump starts getting linked to one of the most famous properties in golf, people pay attention. And not just because of celebrity. It's because Tiger's house has never just been a house. It's where he rebuilt, where he disappeared from the noise, where he trained, healed, protected his family, and tried to find peace after some of the hardest years of his life. So what does it really look like inside this $54 million world? And why does this story feel bigger than gossip? Stay with me, because the deeper you go into this mansion, the more it starts to reveal something powerful about Tiger Woods himself. And if you truly love golf, if this game means something to you, and if you enjoy stories like this that go beyond the leaderboard, then make sure you subscribe and become part of this golf family. Because here, we don't just talk about golf shots. We talk about the lives, the pressure, the legacy, and the moments that make this sport feel bigger than sports. Now, when people hear Tiger Woods Mansion, they probably imagine pure luxury. Big gates, ocean views, endless money. And yes, all of that is there. But what makes this place fascinating isn't just how expensive it is. It's how personal it feels. This wasn't some random celebrity purchase. Tiger bought the land, tore down the old house, and built a private compound that fits the way he lives, the way he trains, and maybe most importantly, the way he escapes. The property sits on Jupiter Island, one of the most exclusive places in Florida. Nearly 9 acres, 2 private docks, a huge main residence, a separate multi-purpose building, a glass walkway connecting the spaces. Even that alone tells you something. This wasn't built to show off. It was built with intention. Almost like Tiger designed a world where everything he needed could exist without ever stepping too far into the public eye. And that matters, because with Tiger, privacy has never been some small luxury. It's survival. But here's the part nobody talks about. The mansion becomes even more interesting when you stop looking at it like a celebrity home and start looking at it like a map of Tiger's life. Every detail starts to feel symbolic. The training spaces, the putting green, the recovery-friendly setup, the distance from the chaos. This place tells the story of a man who spent years being watched by the whole world, and then finally built one place where he could control the narrative. And then the conversation changed. Because once Vanessa Trump entered the headlines around Tiger's life, this estate suddenly became more than Tiger's sanctuary. It became the backdrop for a new chapter. That's what caught so many fans off guard. Golf fans know Tiger through majors, comebacks, injuries, pressure, and history. But when a personal story starts blending with the place where he lives, recovers, and raises his family, the curiosity becomes impossible to ignore. Now let's slow down and picture the inside. The main house reportedly includes spacious bedroom suites, a large living area, a dining room with a fireplace, and luxury details you'd expect from a global icon. But the real heartbeat of the property is what surrounds it. This is not just a mansion for relaxing. It's a golfer's ecosystem. There's a practice setup on the grounds, a putting green, training facilities, a serious gym, space to work, space to recover, space to think. That's what makes a tour of this place different from a normal celebrity house video. If this were just marble floors and giant chandeliers, honestly, golf fans wouldn't care that much. But when you realize this property also reflects Tiger's obsession with preparation, discipline, and control, suddenly it feels like you're stepping inside the mind of a champion. And this is where everything changed. Because for years, fans looked at Tiger's Florida home as a fortress after the storm. After scandal, after surgery, after pain, after the 2021 crash that changed so much. This wasn't just a trophy property. It became the place where a wounded legend had to learn patience. Imagine that. A man who once moved through life with unstoppable force suddenly having to measure every step, every recovery day, every small win. Tiger himself even talked about realizing how big the house felt while he was on crutches. And that detail hits hard, because it reminds you that no matter how grand the property is, Even a mansion can feel heavy when your body won't let you move the way you used to. That's why this story carries emotion. Golf fans don't just see a mansion. We see a comeback headquarters. We see the silence after the roar of the crowd. Wait till you hear what happened next. The more you think about Vanessa Trump being connected to this world, the more interesting the timing becomes. Because this isn't Tiger in his early, reckless years. This is a different phase of life. More guarded, more selective, more aware of what peace costs. If someone is truly being welcomed into that private world, even casually, that says something. Not about tabloid drama, about trust. And trust is a huge word in Tiger's story. He's one of the most recognized athletes on earth. But he's also lived through public collapse in a way few sports icons ever have. So if this estate represents anything, it represents control, protection, and rebuilding. Which means any new presence there feels meaningful, whether fans want to admit it or not. But the story gets even deeper when you connect the family side of it. Tiger's world today is not just about Tiger. It's about his kids, their growth, their golf journeys, their future. For longtime fans, watching Charlie emerge around the game has already added a new emotional layer to Tiger's legacy. It's no longer only about what Tiger won. It's about what remains after the trophies. That's why a Florida mansion tour suddenly becomes more than architecture. It becomes a look at the setting where the next version of Tiger's life is unfolding. Not the redshirt Sunday destroyer, not the unbeatable young phenom, but the father, the mentor, the survivor, the legend trying to live a quieter truth. But here's the surprise. For all the money, all the beauty, all the exclusivity, the most impressive thing about Tiger's estate might actually be how functional it is. This place reportedly has a 100-foot swimming pool, a diving pool, serious training space, and even a short game environment that echoes the game he mastered. And that tells golf fans something they instantly understand. Greatness doesn't shut off at the front door. Even at home, the work is still there. That's what separates Tiger from ordinary celebrity culture. Most stars buy houses to display success. Tiger built a compound that still serves the mission, even when he's recovering, even when he's older, even when people doubt another comeback is possible. The property itself feels like a refusal to disconnect from competition. And honestly, that's inspiring. Because maybe that's what golf has always loved most about Tiger Woods. Not perfection, not even dominance. It's the refusal to stop searching for one more round, one more comeback, one more moment where the old fire suddenly flashes again. And that's why this mansion story has people hooked. On the surface, it's about wealth, privacy, and a headline involving Vanessa Trump. But underneath, it's about something golf fans feel in their bones. Reinvention. A house can become a mirror. And this one mirrors Tiger's life almost perfectly. Massive, beautiful, complicated, carefully designed, and impossible to separate from the pain and pressure that built it. Now think about the image this creates. Palm trees moving in the wind, practice greens under the Florida sun, water beyond the property line, quiet rooms, long hallways, recovery equipment, family moments, maybe private conversations about what comes next. That's not just luxury. That's a man standing between everything he's been and everything he still hopes to be. And this is where the emotional part really lands. Because no matter what you think about headlines, rumors, or celebrity relationships, Tiger Woods still matters to golf in a way that is hard to explain to people outside this sport. His story is stitched into modern golf itself. So when we look at a place like this, we're not just being nosy. We're trying to understand the man behind the scorecards, the man after the spotlight, the man who built a private world because the public one asked too much from him for too long. That's why stories like this matter. Not because of the dollar amount, not because of the celebrity names, but because they remind us that even the biggest icons still need a place to heal, protect what matters, and start again. Tiger's Florida mansion may look like a monument to success, but in many ways, it feels more like a monument to survival. And if Vanessa Trump is now part of that chapter in any real way, then the house isn't just a home anymore. It's the setting for another unexpected turn in one of golf's most unforgettable lives. And maybe that's why we can't look away. Because with Tiger, it's never just about where he lives. It's about what that place means. To him, to his family, to fans who watch the rise, the fall, the comeback, and the scars that came with all of it. So what do you think? Is Tiger's Florida estate simply a luxury mansion, or does it tell the deeper story of who he has become? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more golf stories with real emotion, real history, and the kind of details fans actually care about, stay with the channel. Because this game has given us incredible champions, but only a few stories that truly last forever.